Hi, my name's Rob Walker and this is the fourth video in our series on club development. This one's on adding a gym to your squash club, or the opportunity of adding a gym to your squash club. And this is very dear to my heart because this is something we did at Club Kilburn back in 1995 when I was a younger man. And it's been a massive success for us, and the synergy between a squash and gym is just really good, and they work so well together and they feed off each other, and it's made us a much bigger club, a much more active club, and a lot more profitable club. So what are the advantages? Well, firstly, as I've alluded to, you can double or triple the turnover of your club pretty quickly, and that's got some distinct financial advantages. One of the advantages is that you're able to then you get your turnover to a point where you can employ some part-time or full-time staff, so that it puts you on another level of club, and then you can gain some momentum out of that, so that not everything's just being done by volunteers. So that's a really big advantage, I think, in that it puts you into a whole different level, puts you into a professional level, and you can start to employ professionals to run your club and compete with other professional run leisure activities, which is where we want to be, where we have to be if squash wants to be taken seriously in today's leisure market. One other major advantage is that once you've got a gym, you get people joining your club that you would hardly ever get them into a squash club, because they just, they don't get around to looking at squash. When they've got to walk past squash courts every day, all of a sudden they have an interest. They start to have an interest in what is this game? What is that little black ball? What are those guys doing? And it looks a bit more fun to get a cardio workout than biking and all those things. So you've got a whole way of promoting, you've got a whole lot of people that you can promote your squash to, that traditionally it's quite hard to get them into your club. Also, your squash members, a lot of them go, well, certainly there's a fair percentage of them will be going to gyms, so they might as well go to your one. Some of them will definitely join your one as opposed to go to the one that they were going, because they're familiar with their club. They probably feel closer to their squash club than they do to their gym. So you've got those people. You've also got the squash players that know that they should have gone to a gym, but they never have. So now they're in an environment where they feel more comfortable about going to a gym, because it's their squash club that they feel very familiar with. So you've got those people as well. The sort of gym I'm talking about is like our gym that we've got at Club Kilburn. We don't run a whole lot of group fitness classes, so you can do it at a very good price, $10-12 a week, no contract if you wish, which I strongly suggest is one of your options, and you can make good money out of it, and you don't have the hassle of, or the expense of, running a whole lot of classes and having a whole nother layer of people you have to employ to do that. So perceived value is something that I'd like to just spend a minute on. Really interesting idea when you look at our sort of gym, the sort of gym we've got at Club Kilburn, and the sort of gym that I suggest, the same sort of gym that I suggest squash clubs can look at. The perceived value of that sort of gym far outweighs the cost of putting it in. So a gym's a gym to people. So if they go to the gym, that's a gym, and that's what they pay. So if you don't want to do group fitness classes, as I don't want to do, basically, I want to do some weights, and when I'm injured I want to do some cardio, and the rest of the time I want to play squash. So that's what I do. For me, Club Kilburn's a great gym because that caters for what I do. If I wanted to go to Les Mills or City Fitness or some of the other gyms that offer a range of classes, that's still a gym, but I end up paying twice as much for it because it offers that other group fitness side of it. So by offering the sort of gym that we're talking about, the perceived value of it is really good for the client and for the member, and they see the value of it as really good. So it's the perceived value, I believe, is really strong for squash clubs to look at putting this type of gym in. The other thing that's a major advantage for squash clubs in terms of going into the gym business is you're already halfway there. You've already got your car park, you're already paying your rates, you've already got the shell of your building. A lot of the time you don't need to increase the footprint of your building. You can use space that you've got in your gym. You've got your showers, you've got your committee. You're blinking halfway there. To bolt a gym on isn't like starting a whole new business, even though it's a business segment on its own. You're already halfway there, and a lot of your costs are already covered by being a squash club. So that's a massive advantage going forward, because you're 3/4 of the way there to being a gym and squash club, and you haven't even started the gym. So as a squash and gym club, really want to offer as many different sorts of membership options that people might want. So you have the full club year offer, you have a 6 month, you have 5 months, you have 4 months, you have 3 months, all those prepaid. Then you have a no contract offer where they pay a fee up front. We charge $50 up front, 2 weeks in advance, and then a no contract after that. That's all run by Debit Success through Clubware. And then we have concession cards, and then we have casuals, and then we have squash and gym, and then we have student squash and gym, and we have various prices for all those things. So by having another segment to your gym, to your club gym, it means that the range of products that you can offer become a lot wider, and the potential to sign people up becomes way larger. So let's get down to the nitty-gritty of profits and costs and how much room you need in your gym. So just briefly, I mean, how long's a piece of string? But to give you a rough indication, I think if you had 100 grand to put towards a project and you didn't have to do exterior building, you've got a really good chance of making a good go of the sort of gym that we've got. And certainly the sort of, I believe the revenue that you get out of, the extra revenue that you get out of a gym that you put 100 grand into would more than pay for the cost of the gear over a period of a few years, and the cost of having some part or full-time staff, and some of the costs that go towards getting your club looking reasonable to open as a squash and gym club. So, and in terms of floor space, I mean, I think you could get away with the floor space of a couple of squash courts, that sort of area. So a lot of clubs have got a court that they might have 4 courts and they've got 150 members. Well, sorry, that doesn't add up. You might use one of those courts as one of your gym rooms, and you might have another room that's about the same size in your building. That would certainly be a reasonable sized gym. Certainly if you had 5 or 6 courts. There's some big clubs out there that haven't got many members and have got a lot of floor space. If you in an ideal world, I would think that it would be great to have 3 court spaces worth of gym gear. I'm not saying that you'd use all your courts, I'm just saying that amount of space, about 3 lots of 65 or 70 square centimetres of square meters of room. Then you'd have enough room for a cardio area with cardio gear in it, a free weights area, and a pin loaded or a machine weights area, and a stretching area. So yeah, I mean, it's very difficult to see it in a 1 minute part of a video, but essentially I think you don't need much space and you don't need a lot of money, and all of a sudden you're in a whole better position as a club going forward. So to finish off, let's just have a look at Club Kilburn as an example of a squash and gym club. As I mentioned earlier, we put our first gym room in 1995, so we've been around the gym business a long time now, and it was nowhere near as well advanced as it is now in terms of the gear that's offered and the sorts of opposition that there are and the number of opposition, but nevertheless it's still essentially the same business. So by becoming a squash and gym club, we've been able to make well over $100,000 profit that we've returned to New Zealand squash every year on average for 20 years. So made a massive difference. Hate to think what our results would be if we were just squash. Don't want to think about it. But being squash and gym, massive difference. The other thing that we did 6 years ago is we had some physios come and join us, and they've become a significant part of our business. So being multi-use now, we're really squash, gym, physio, pro shop. So to conclude, as you can see, I'm a big fan of multi-use for squash clubs going forwards, and think there's some really good opportunities for certain clubs out there to do the sorts of things that we've done. Every situation is unique, so nothing can be copied directly or exactly, but you know, the guts of it are still pretty much the same, and I'm really sure actually that there are 20 or 30 clubs out there that could do a similar type of thing than what we've done, and make a really good go of it, and see some great results from it. So thanks very much for taking the time to listen to and watch these videos, and I hope they might be of some use to you and your club and your community.